Good evening. Welcome to LoveLogical, DNA Not Required. This is Michelle L. Anderson, coming to you live from Podcast Detroit, Royal Oak Studios. We are looking forward to intriguing and entertaining you every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Let me start today's show by saying thank you for joining our family, which is biological by nature, LoveLogical by choice, DNA Not Required. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening on the LoveLogical DNA Not Required podcast. And I want to apologize for not being here last week, but everybody know what season this is. So, when people are getting sick this time of year. But we are back today for the last Tuesday of Adoption Awareness Month. And we have a fabulous guest with us tonight. Miss Kathleen Garrison.
Hi.
And Terica. I did it. And her LoveLogical daughter, Terica.
Hi.
I called her Tarika a minute ago. She says, no, it's Terica. So I said, if I say it wrong on the mic, you just correct me like you just did. So Terica is interested in being a journalist. So we are going to be doing everything we can to support that. And so tonight is her first time on a live podcast. So she's going to be writing shows for us eventually.
Woo.
So we're gonna claim that one.
Yes. Yes.
So, Terica, how old are you?
I'm 17.
You're 17? Okay. You're a senior in high school?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us, what do you like to do?
In school?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in school,
Come a little bit closer.
I like to go to class and I like to interact. And my favorite class is English because I like to read and write. And I like to, socialize. Because back when I was like in middle school, I really didn't socialize that much. But now I came out more, make friends.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you, if you had to give someone advice or give them just a little bit of awareness, adoption awareness, what advice would you give to someone who's 17, who's out there and looking to be adopted? What advice would you give them?
Well, the advice I would give them is that don't worry about what's happening now, to look into the future because things will get better, and to set goals for yourself so in the future you can do things that you want to do and not worry about being with different family, because you'll be able to adapt and not have to worry about what the family's going to do, and just follow their rules so you can get along with the family.
That's a good answer. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm over here like Steve Harvey. Good answer. Good answer. That was very good, wise advice that you gave.
You.
Very good, wise advice. So if you're wondering why I ask, Terica has been adopted by Kathleen.
Mm-hmm.
And she started off in her home as her LoveLogical foster daughter.
Yes.
Kathleen is a foster to adopt mother and is still currently a foster parent.
Yes.
And this woman is amazing. She has a huge LoveLogical heart. And she was raised in foster care herself.
Yes.
So share with us, how old were you when you went into foster care?
I was 7 or 8, but I was also raised by my big mama from age 2.
Mm-hmm.
So from there I went to foster care about 8 till about 12.
Okay.
Yep.
And she said something that we talked last night, and when she said Big Mama, I said that touched me, because for those of you who are a little younger, when you hear Big Mama, you think of Martin Lawrence,
Medea.
Medea, but we had real Big Mamas.
Yes.
So you were with your Big Mama up until 7 or 8, and then you were within the system up until 12.
Yes.
And I know that was hard for you. It had to be hard.
Yes.
But you have such a huge heart. So what happened after 12?
After 12, I finally was returned to my mom. I went home to my mother. And I was in and out. We had a lot of things going on with her. She did what she could do. And I would end up sometimes with other aunts. My mother sings, and she sings really well.
Okay.
Like my mom, I love my mom's voice. So, and our family was like her choir. So I had Auntie Vivi, Auntie Val, Auntie this, Auntie, just aunts everywhere, you know. So I would go back and forth to them when things got a little rough, but around 12 is when I was actually stable, with my mom up until like the age of 15 when I got pregnant. And then I moved to one of our saints. I call her Mama Tina.
Okay.
I moved to her home at about 15, and she helped me from that process. And then I was on my own at 18.
Wow. Yeah. And that had to be hard. Yeah. But you look at you. And what made you decide to become a foster parent? And that's a LoveLogical parent. What made you take children into your home?
Well, of course, it starts with my big mama. My big mama, she was just love. When you look at her, she was love. And a lot of, she was a big mama. We got our butts whooped. You know what I'm saying? She got us, punishment and all that. But also, that wasn't like the stain, for me, getting whoopings wasn't what, I remember the most.
Right.
I remember the hugs. I remember the being picked up. And she was older. She wasn't a young, she was like 60-something or something like that. Older, caring for a 2-year-old. And my brother, which was 4, he was there all his life. But caring for us. And she was mom. We did gardens, went fishing, road trips. I mean, just everything. We never were hungry. And we went to church. You was going to go to church. If you didn't want to go to church, you went to church sleep. You went to church woke. You just went to church. You know what I'm saying? Everything was church. And not only did you go to church, but we had church in the home. We had Bible class on Wednesdays, and then we watched Highway to Heaven together. My big mama was into families, and everybody knew that if they needed something, they can come to my big mama's house. And I just experienced so much love there. And when I went to foster care, it vanished. Okay. Like I have never been able to, get that type of love, that I got from her. So I was always in a seek for that. And I realized that that's where a lot of people are. They're in a seek for love, and especially foster children, because you go through that part of being in an environment and then now you're in somebody else's environment and it's not familiar to you and you have to adapt, and it's a struggle there. And that's where people are depressed and, feel neglected and go through the abandonment stuff, feelings. And from that, when I got older, I was just always like, I'm going to be like my big mama. I'm going to have people, because everybody came and stayed with her. I have cousin brothers and cousin sisters, because my big mama raised generations of us, And to this day, they're my cousin sister or cousin brother, because they were family and we just were raised in the house as brother and sister. And I just want my children and others to feel that love that I had in my big mom's home, because it was the best. It was literally the best love. She just knew how. Hugs was not an issue. She hugged you and you didn't want to be hugged. She'd take you outside and chase you around in the yard. She played jump rope with you. She was she was a big mom. She was mom, and I want to have that spirit. I want to be like that to other people. And I try to be like that to my kids. It was the best feeling ever, Yeah,
I remember big mamas. It was spending the summer down in Pine Bluff, Arkansas,
Okay.
with Big Mama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the love that you got, but you would also get in trouble if you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't spare her mouth or anything else. She would tell you if you were doing something wrong.
Exactly.
And when she said you were gonna get in trouble, there was no forgetting. You got it.
Surprise.
Yeah. You're young. You don't have that Big Mama that we used to have growing up. And I really think that children are missing out by not having that. But the love that you're giving, that within itself means a lot. How old were you when you decided to become a foster parent?
I gotta tell my age. No,
I'm
it was
sorry.
2012. No, it's
Okay.
fine. So what was I? If this is 2019, like
You was 38.
how you remember? I was 38. 38, and I wanted to do it before then, you know, but then going to school, I was undecided. I just knew I wanted to be for kids. I didn't know how it would be. Foster care was the best thing for me, so I didn't know how to get in. And of course, when I finally started that process, that's where we met our mutual friend, and she just showed me kind of how to do it, what to do. And I've been like, yes, because I was a teacher as well,
Okay.
a sub in a school. And I loved it. I loved being around the kids. And I loved, you know, those, what they call left out ones or picked on ones. You know, it seemed like I could, you know, relate to them. And with that, it was like, this is where foster care for me is. I can relate. So I want to do something that I can relate to, you know, and I just did it. And
That
boy,
sounds-
did I do it.
So 6 years.
2 people, yes.
6 years. Have you been with her the entire 6 years?
Yes.
Okay, that's how you knew how old she was when you came. And how did your life change when the two of you met?
It changed a lot because before I was a bad kid. I was bad. I used to like fight and stuff. But when I came to Miss Kathleen, if it was different, it took me like a while to get with the process, but it really didn't take long. And I liked it. It was fun. We, laugh and play. And then being around other kids, like, it made me more, social. And I liked it. It was really good.
Okay. So it transformed your life in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So Miss Kathleen gets silly. See,
Yes.
I get silly too.
We get real silly.
But I think that's what makes being in a house together fun, is when you can get silly and, laugh and joke and just do crazy stuff. Because I'll bust out and dance in a heartbeat.
That's her.
That's you.
That's you.
You
They
say
try
that's
to
her
show
and she
me.
says you. So which one is it? Both of you?
No, it's you. You do that.
They try to teach me how to dance. I have no rhythm, so they laugh at my non-rhythm
Well, you dance to the rhythm of your own beat.
all the time.
Yeah.
The beat in my head.
So let's see. So when Terica, that's here. Okay, I got to go. It's saying one thing in my head, so I got to make sure it comes out my mouth the right way. So when Terica came 6 years ago, how many children did you have? Because you said that you getting used to being around other kids. So how many children were in the house?
When she first came, it was her and her sister. Her and her sister were my first foster. So I got licensed as a foster care worker in the same week. We got 2 for you. I was like, oh, 2? Okay. I was excited about it, but I always had my nieces and all of those, so I would always have a house full of kids, So when she came, it was just her and her sister at first, and then my son would, frequent the home. But That was it. Her, but our nieces. So sometimes we'd be 10 of us there, and they'd be spending the night.
Okay.
So we would have major fun.
Did you build forts?
Did we? No.
No,
No, we just-
forts. Okay.
Played.
But a lot of sleepovers and playing and everything.
Yeah.
See, that's fun. That's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trips.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what kind of trips?
We went to Atlanta twice. And we went to Philadelphia, Chicago, Ohio.
Delaware, Wilmington. Maybe we just went there. Washington.
Oh, yeah, Washington, D.C.
Okay.
We done been so many places.
That's good.
Yeah, we like road trips.
See, I like getting in the car and going too.
Yeah.
Sometimes taking a road that I've not been on before to see where it's going to take me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was told to stop doing that by myself, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop doing it. Don't worry, you got a whole family that'll go with you.
Because I do. I enjoy road trips. You know,
Yeah.
getting up in the morning, just deciding to go somewhere at the last minute is it's a good thing to do. So you like sitting in the car for hours on end?
Yeah, I like to relax and just ride.
What was your favorite part of going to D.C.?
I like looking at the monuments in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice, but it was just a lot of traffic, and the roads are terrible there.
Always. It's always traffic. I don't care what time you go through D.C., it's traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And the motorcades.
Yeah. Oh, you did get a
Oh,
chance
yeah.
to see the
Yeah, it was
motorcade?
like 2 or 3 of them, come police come with the, we was like, oh, there goes the president,
So you got a chance to see that. That's actually good. Now, I know you are phenomenal because a lot of families don't travel like that. And it's easy to plan and just do something. Especially your trips sound educational.
Yeah.
You like to go educational places.
Most times that's what ends up happening. Washington, I wanted to go to the museum, so we were able to do that. And I have a godmother who's like educational, just diva. She's just education, social justice and all that. So she really, kind of planted that seed there to help them get an understanding education-wise, teaching them about our history and all of that. She makes a big deal out of it, so I have no choice but to make sure they know, that information. So even my 3-year-old, he knows.
History is good. It's really good to learn, especially when you're learning. I like the fact that history is being rewritten in many ways now because now we're learning the truth. So the stories that are coming out that we knew as children, we're finding were not true stories.
Right.
So as a journalist, that would be something that you would write on. Do you know what you want to specialize in as a journalist?
Well, I was thinking about writing magazine articles for like fashion magazines because I like fashion too.
Okay.
So I was thinking about doing that.
Awesome. Now, you were saying that children should set their goals, and worry about where they're going as opposed to where they are if they're living in a foster home, and that just be patient when it comes to being in the home because things do change.
Yes.
And you told us that you gave her some problems when you first came in, and then you adapted. See, her face softened up on that one. She softened up. I got it. She softened up. So you gave her some problems in the beginning. What changed you? What made you change to where you decided that you were going to stop fighting? You were going to stop doing those things. You said you were bad, but I doubt if you were very bad. But what changed you to where you became what you see yourself as a better person?
Well, going to church changed me a lot because I didn't used to go to church a lot. But when I looked around, people was being happy And I decided to just be happy and stop getting mad about everything, because the situation that I was in, it wasn't worth being mad every day about. So I decided to just let it go and just be a better person.
So you were mad about your past. Okay. And you decided to accept your present and build your future.
Yes.
That's awesome. And church helped you do that. What was it about church other than people being happy? Was it the happiness that really got to you?
Yeah, and knowing more about God and praying, because it shaped me to be better than what I was before. So it was good.
Okay. And so now you're looking at going on to college, studying journalism. How much younger or older is your sister?
She's 3 years older. She's 20.
Okay. Okay. And you two still have a close relationship?
Not really.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sure as you both grow, things will come and you'll bring it back together again. You know, so how many siblings do you have at home right now?
Wait,
Does that mean you got to count them?
4?
Okay.
Yes, 4.
Okay. Are you the oldest?
No,
Okay. And so how many do you have that's younger than you?
3.
Okay. So how does it feel to be a big sister instead of a little sister?
It feels good because I get to control.
She the boss.
You get to control them.
Yeah, because I tell them to stop and sit down. But it's fun because, they little kids and I like to play around with them and stuff. So it's pretty fun.
That's good. That's good. And so I'm going to go back over to you. So you two came together 6 years ago in a fostering situation. And out of the 4 children that you have, how many have you adopted? 3?
3.
You've adopted 3. And you have a 4th one now that's still part of the system, within the fostering system.
Yes.
How was the adoption process for you?
Whew. I will say Terica's adoption was easy.
Okay.
I think we started the process and it was done like within 3-4 months. It was
Okay.
like really easy once she had the paperwork and all that kind of stuff.
Did you two talk about it before you decided to
Yes.
officially adopt her?
Excuse me. Yes. We had a conversation. And we really had to talk about it because of the surrounding situations that was happening.
Okay.
You comfortable with me talking about it? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
So in that process, her mom's rights were terminated.
Okay.
And her mom was deceased. She had like within a week or 2 before or after. I don't remember if the adoption was first or if her mom, had passed first. And I want to say her mom had passed first. But it was like weeks there. So we had talked about it, and it was a little surprising because, it was mom had we thought she was gone. We didn't know where she was for a while. So then that process, things started happening. So we had to end up talking about what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. And she was okay with that. And we just moved forward from there. Then we, my other baby, Mari, I had started him early, way early. And his didn't get done till after hers. So it was like a 2-year process for him. And it was the worst process in the world.
So I'm sorry for your loss of your mom. Your biological mom. I know what that feels like because I've lost my mother at a young age too. So I definitely know what that feels like. But what made one process so much easier and the other one a 2-year process? You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you sure? All right. And the other one a 2-year process?
The workers.
Okay.
So I just, sometimes that process can be hard. Documentation, court, and all that, it can be rough. And then you have to wait to make sure no other family members come forward and all that kind of stuff. Then in the system itself, there's a lot of turnaround. So one worker stopped working, another one came on, the adoption, workers. So I had never done the adoption process before. So in the process of it, I wouldn't hear from anybody for like 3 or 4 months. And it's like, okay, well, they told me they would do my paperwork and that it was going to take, a long time. So I'm thinking this is the time. And it really wasn't. They didn't have anybody working on my case because the worker had left or whatever, moved on. So it was a lot of that miscommunication. And then the holdup would be that now my stuff is expired. So now I have to go and redo everything again. And it was just... they put the wrong type of fingerprint request in. It was a lot to go with my baby boy.
Wow.
But Terica's worker was just like
just on it.
On it. She was like, give me the paperwork. I was, we probably could have had it done in a month if it was possible because I was the holdup then. I was so frustrated, with that process. But her adoption worker actually helped me handle mine, with mentally, like, because I went to court and I was just very upset, even though I was blaming all of them. But stuff happened once I started in foster care, because not only am I a foster mother, but also I was a foster care worker and a foster care supervisor.
So you really learned the process that way too.
Yeah. Once I got into the actual working, it's like, oh, this is, I understand now. This is all these different processes, and then the turnaround is so great in human services, period. Social services, it's a great turnaround because of the job, the stress of the job. People are advancing quickly or whatever, so there's a lot of vacancies. So those areas, we need help.
And caseloads.
Yes.
Yeah. Caseloads are really crazy. I know that if there's anyone who's out there listening, and I'm going to sidebar here for a second, I do know that there is a foster agency that is looking for caseworkers. So if you're curious, you want more information, then you can reach out to me via IM on Facebook or at info@lovelogical.com. So I wanted to make sure that I put that in there while we're talking. So I want to ask you, Terica, when Kathleen asked you about being her daughter, being adopted into her family, what was your first thought?
My first thought, I was thinking, okay, like, I don't remember because it was a while ago.
Okay.
But I was okay with it.
And then going through the process, did you feel like the process was taking too long for you, or were you like ready for it to happen, or?
I was just letting it flow.
Just let it flow.
Because I really didn't know anything about the process. So I was just letting it go.
Now, when the process was finalized, you both go to court together, correct? And Terica, can you tell us what happened when you went to court?
Well, we went in the courtroom, and it was a judge, and she said, I forgot, something about, do you take Terica as your daughter? And she said yes. And that's all I can remember.
Okay. Did you like pass out with excitement, and that's why you?
Oh, no.
You didn't jump up and down and scream or anything, or?
No, I was happy though.
Okay. Very happy inside. That's good. That's really good. And What do you call her? What do you call her?
I call her Miss Kathleen.
Miss Kathleen? Okay. All right. I know my LoveLogical children, they call me Miss Michelle too. My older children just call me Michelle, sometimes Ma, but they call me Miss Michelle too. And at first I said, I wonder if they still call me Miss Michelle because they don't see me as Ma. But I realize they see me as Ma. It's respect and it's familiarity. Yeah.
That's where she coming in foster first. We did have that conversation on what they can call me, and you can call me Miss Cat, Miss Kathleen, whatever. Just don't call me Kathleen. I was like, no. So she chose, Miss Kathleen, and it was fine. And when the adoption, happened, I was okay with that. Miss Kathleen is what she's always called me. So that's our comfortable, that's our language. And I went through that part of, am I her mom? Do she really, is she really thinking I'm her mom or not? And we had conversations about it because I think that was one of my biggest challenges with this whole adoption and, fostering is that mother figure, do she look at me as a mother or do she hate me because of the situations, And sometimes you have to watch your surroundings and watch who is around you, and you have to know your household. And that's what I had to establish with her. Like, we see people all the time, and sometimes people will feed that. Why she call you Miss Kathleen? You done raised me. No, we have our own special bond. She refers to me as mom. In the school system, where's your mother? My mom. Mom's over there. Or she'll tell my other sons. Mom's over. Mom wants you, or whatever. And we've had the conversation of how she feel, and I let her know it's not a force, or anything like that. If you feel like I'm auntie or whatever, it's fine. I don't want to put mother as the position, and then you feel like I'm something else. So you let me know.
Right.
And she would write me the beautifulest cards about, being mom, and she still draws.
Okay.
Every birthday, and I look forward to it. Store-bought cards are wonderful. But I love the penmanship. I love the artistic side of her. And she has my other babies doing it. They write their cards and they, it comes from the heart and it's, drawn. And I don't look for perfection. This is in your heart. It's my heart now,
Look at Big Sister.
Yeah. And she's a really, really good example with that.
I see. Big Sister up there doing her thing. I like
she's
that.
The best. Yeah.
I like that. What made you decide to write cards and stuff? Because a lot of young people don't want to do cards anymore.
Well, I like to draw. And the store-bought cards, they don't have what I want them to have on it, so I have to do it myself.
What are you looking for on the card that you feel like they don't have? Educate them.
Like creativity, because they all just look the same. And I like to put, pizzazz on it.
Okay.
Most of them don't.
So you're going to have to start your own card line.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tarika.
Yeah. Yep, you got to start your own card line then. That sounds awesome. It's very interesting because you don't get the opportunity to speak to younger people your age who have gone through the phase of foster to adoption, and I'm glad to hear that it's a positive relationship, and that you're happy to be there and you enjoy being the big sister. That's really cool.
One thing that she does too is help my foster children adapt.
Okay.
And that's a big thing that she does, and she helps keep me balanced sometimes.
Okay.
Because I be ready to just, why they doing this and what? And she's my other head, should I say. She's that old soul. She's that, leader. And she has that ability. She'll help me, sometimes I process things to her and I'm like, what, why? And she's, well, maybe that's just what she was used to, or maybe, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, don't tell me, because I want to be mad. You know what I'm saying? Now here you come with the voice of reason. I don't want to hear that.
But she's got wisdom, and
yes,
you can tell she's got wisdom.
Yes, she does.
So that's it's understanding. How old were you when you went into the foster system? Do you
I was-
mind sharing?
I was 9.
You were 9. So how many homes were you in before?
Just one.
Okay. So you were very, very fortunate that Miss Kathleen was your second home. And we're not going to go into the first home, just the fact that you went in there when you were 9, and then you went to Miss Kathleen at 11, correct?
9.
I was still 9.
Okay,
was
you were still
turning
9,
10.
turning 10. Okay, so you've been with her for a long time, so that's a good thing. See, you had many blessings bestowed upon you with that one, didn't you? And then you got all the cousins and everything, and I love your cousin sister and your cousin brother. I love that. I've not heard anybody say that before.
Oh, yeah.
The cousin sister and the cousin brother.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I was talking to Kathleen on the phone, and I was asking her about her thoughts on the term LoveLogical. So did she explain LoveLogical to you? Okay.
No.
LoveLogical it's the embracing of your non-biological familiar relationships, your family. That's foster, adopted, blended, and extended families. So, and our tagline is DNA not required. So basically saying that family is from the heart, and it's only logical that you love someone as your family. So that's where LoveLogical came from. My LoveLogical grandson said, "Grandma, how are you my grandma if you're not my mother's mama?" And the next morning I woke up with LoveLogical coming off of my tongue. So I said that God gave it to me. And then when I came up with the definition, the DNA not required came out. So he gave me that too. So that's where it comes from. So what are your thoughts on the term LoveLogical? What do you think about it?
I think that it's a good way to tell like foster children or children that have been adopted that it's okay that they're not your biological family because they still love you.
Mm-hmm.
And they always love you because they took you in.
So you think that being referred to as their LoveLogical child, you would like that? Because you are Kathleen's LoveLogical child. She's your LoveLogical mom, in according to my terminology. I mean, she's your mom, but if there's any, like she was saying that, sometimes people saying you call her Miss Kathleen or Miss this, but LoveLogical is also another term that you can use. And this is my LoveLogical mom, if that'll make you feel better,
Mm-hmm.
So could you see yourself using it somewhere down the road or?
Yes.
Yes. I told her that I want her to write an article for LoveLogical from her perspective, because as a budding journalist, I want to help in every way that I possibly can. And I have a LoveLogical brother who actually is a journalist in New York. I'm very proud of him. And it took a lot for him to get to New York because that's still one of the journalistic capitals. A lot of newspapers and magazine articles and everything they've stopped with the paper print and they're online now, which is one of the reasons I like my Oprah, because I'm like you. I like to touch the magazine. I like to turn the pages. And I'm very odd that I actually read some magazines from the back to the front. And to this day, I don't know why I do that. But I start from the back, and then I'll read what I want to read. But I'm looking from the back first. So call me weird. I don't know. But one of the things that I wanted to share is my mother had foster children when I was growing up. So I have my foster brothers and sisters. And even now, I have, Taronda and Morris. And we may not talk to each other every day, but we love each other. And we're there for each other when needed, And I have my biological siblings, but my LoveLogical siblings mean a lot to me. and they came into my house the same way you came into Kathleen's house. And my mother didn't adopt them, but she was in the process of adopting Bangladesh when my mother actually passed away. So I truly understand how special it is for you to be in a home that's filled with love. And I understand from Taronda's and Morris's perspectives, because Taronda said that she's a mom like she is because, my mother gave and showed that love. Because my mother was like a big mama. She did. She operated like a big mama. She really did. She loved everybody. I told you last night we had the Kool-Aid house. Yeah, we had the Kool-Aid house. We had the backyard. We had the downstairs. We had the den with the television. So, it was someplace for everybody to go and just play and hang out and have a good time. And my brothers and sisters are 10 to 14 years older than I am. So to have them come into the home, that was good for me because it gave me somebody to talk to and confide in and everything else. Like you were saying, you have your little brothers and sisters. That gives that makes you empowered, because you're educating them and you're loving them. So you're the big sister, or like you said, you get to control them.
She's the controller.
Now, you have 3 under you. So we've heard about your little brother, and he is how old?
It's 2 of them. We have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
A 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. Now, Kathleen we were just saying before the show, Kathleen has a Caucasian child in her home.
Yes.
And we were saying that was something that is still fairly new within the fostering system.
Yeah.
So when we say fairly new, I was thinking 10, 15 years, and you were saying, no, it's newer than that, really.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know the statistics, but I want to say it's like probably newer than that.
I'm happy to see that, though, because as we were saying, it used to be that Caucasian children weren't placed into African-American homes. And now, but African-American children were consistently placed in Caucasian homes. So now it's something that everyone is going wherever there's a space and where it's needed. What I want to see are more LoveLogical homes like yours, to where children come into the home and they're loved and they're cared for and they don't want to leave. They want to stay. Yeah. They want to stay. They're asked if, you ask, Terica if she wanted to be adopted, and yes. And she said she was happy, very happy, the day that the judge brought the 2 of you together and merged you into a LoveLogical home, which you already was, but that made it legal.
Right.
And it made it forever final.
Right.
So, she's about to watch you go to college.
Yay.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Let me back up. Skirt. We got prom coming up. You started on the dress yet?
No,
Not
I
yet.
don't know what's.
Come on now. We doing fashion. You looking at Vogue and all that stuff. I want to see the dress. So we got prom coming up. I'm doing prom at my house too. I got 2. I got LoveLogical and Biological both graduating this year. So we got prom, then we got college. What college you going to for journalism?
Well, I have to. Wayne State is like my number 1, and then Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan are
Okay.
like the top 3.
You want to stay on campus or you want to stay at home? Don't look at her. Look at me. Don't look at her.
I want you at home. No.
Look at me. Don't look at her. She's not over there right now.
Right.
I have to see. Probably for my first year, I might stay home because I'm going to still be 17. But probably when I turn 18, I'll probably stay on campus because I'm probably not going to be ready yet.
Okay. least you do have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of wisdom. All right, I love it. I love it. And then, so you're gonna study journalism,
Yes.
okay? And then after that, do you want to stay here in Michigan, or you want to travel, or like they say on television, it's just between you and me. She's not over there. It's just between us girls.
Right.
I might start traveling because I would love to do that, but I'm gonna wait to travel. I'll wait till I turn like 21
Really?
or 22.
I'm gonna tell you. My friend's daughter goes to U of M, and she graduated from high school at 16. That girl has traveled every year. She's 20 in her senior year of college, and she just got back from Thailand. She found that in college, somehow, some way, and I'm going to ask her because she really needs to write a book. Somehow, some way, she has had every trip financed, and she's been all over the world. They've all been school designated trips. So she was safe and everything. So my advice to you, when you're ready, travel. If you have an opportunity, take it. If the school says we're going to send you to Bangladesh, go.
And make sure they got a ticket for your mom.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
If they say we want you to go as a delegate for whatever for Hawaii, go. Because the whole world is at your disposal. You are special. You have proven it because you have survived and you are moving forward. Anybody that can say, I came in and I was bad, I was fighting and everything else, but then I went to church and I made a decision. You made a decision based on other people's joy. That says a lot about you. You took control of your own destiny. And to tell other kids to write down their goals, I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. And you have done a very good job. You are awesome, LoveLogical mom.
Thank you.
Awesome. You know, and every child's not as fortunate to have a home like yours.
Right.
You know, and I have a huge heart for LoveLogical parents within the fostering community that's truly in it for the right reason, and that is to shape the life of a child in a positive direction.
Correct.
Yeah. And this is proof right here. She about to go to college.
Yeah.
About to go to college and mature enough to say, I may not be ready to stay on campus.
Right.
I love it. Because my daughter can't wait. I had to beg her to apply someplace in Michigan. Because she's like, oh, I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. Yes. But life is what you make it. You're going to make mistakes and everything else. But you pick up, dust off, and keep on going. Yeah. So, Miss Kathleen, what are your goals once our girl Tarika, no, just joking. Once Tarika goes to college, are you going to? Is she gonna have to give up her room for a little bit and just or are you gonna continue to have more kids come in? Because how many children are you licensed for?
2.
You licensed for 2, and then you have 3 that you have 4, 3 that you've adopted, 3 that you've adopted. Can you see adopting your current son if the opportunity presented itself?
She is a girl. She's older. So if it was an opportunity, I probably would. But one of the things that I do is we have a conversation before I take a foster child in or I do any of that. Because a lot of times she has a responsibility, she takes on that responsibility when I'm at work. So we have that conversation. So in my mind, I'll have foster children, adoptive children, probably for the rest of my life, However, she would be a big part of that to see, are you okay with us having, that or whatever?
I love it. And
her
that's right,
room-
because you have the child that you have now is older. How do you
Yeah.
like having an older sibling in the house with you?
It's cool. She's fun. She's a lot of help.
Has she changed a lot since she first came?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But you played a big role in that. You played a big role in that. You might want to consider giving some tips to the parents on what they can do to make a child's life easier when they come in. Would you like to share that? We got 5 minutes. So would you like to give some tips to the parents who are taking in children through the fostering system? What can they do to make it easier for those children coming in?
They can give them a little space, not a lot, but give them space to adapt to how your household is. Don't make them do what you want them to do, because it can be a lot of pressure. So just let them go with the flow, see how things are, and if it works out, then it works out. And if you think it's not the right child, don't send them back. Try to shape them into a better person so they can appreciate where they're at, because a lot of times they might not want to be there because it's not home or it's different rules. Just let them adapt to how it is by themselves. And you can help a little bit, but don't pressure them.
Okay. Okay. Now, what if they come in fighting and all of that stuff? What should they do then?
They should take them to therapy and just bring them around people that are caring, so they can know that people care about them and that they don't have to fight and be mean all the time, because they know that people are on their side and they want them to get better, so they won't fight or do this or that and be bad, because they'll know that it's people that actually love them.
So they show them some love and be patient. They need acceptance. And you're saying don't send them back. So if they're doing the wrong thing, try to work with them. And I'm going to add to that by saying don't call them bad. Don't say negative things. Try to be more positive when handling the children. And don't threaten to send them back. Because a lot of times you're being tested. You're being tested to find out if you are going to send them back. If you truly want them. Because kids that have been moved from one home to another, just being out of their home, it is an adjustment period.
It is.
And it's a matter of loving them. And I love the fact that you take the time to talk to them and help them through the process. I think that's awesome. Can you see yourself becoming a foster parent as an adult?
Maybe.
Maybe. You can say no if you want to. I want you to be honest. But maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that you'd be a great LoveLogical parent in any way, because you're an awesome LoveLogical sister, LoveLogical daughter, and that makes a huge difference because you have that heart. And I'm glad that you understand the concept that DNA not required. So we have to wrap up here tonight. Kathleen, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate both of you. And thank you,
You're welcome.
Tarika. No, Tarika. You get that a lot, don't you?
Oh,
Tarika, yep. Thank you, Tarika. I appreciate you and your wisdom and being brave enough to come on here tonight. And I want to thank all of you for listening and, consider becoming a foster parent. If you have the room in your home, or if you're out there and you're wanting to adopt, consider foster to adoption, because it does make the process a lot easier, and that you get to know the child. You get to know the child. You get to know the child's mannerisms and things like that. And if your personalities mesh.
Mm-hmm.
So it all makes a difference. And you heard it from the young lady's mouth herself as far as what you can do to make it easier through that transition. So good night, everyone. And as I say, LoveLogical is biological by nature, LoveLogical by choice, DNA not required. Good night.